Jon Bernthal joins Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I don't know how I feel about this.
So, what's interesting is there is a Spider-Man and Punisher crossover comic. Phil pointed it out to me a couple of days ago. I'm going to try and find it real quick while we discuss this. Yes, The Amazing Spider-Man number 129, featuring the Punisher. And I don't think I've read this story, but Phil did mention after seeing this comic that it does make sense that they would bring the Punisher into the Spider-Man franchise. I mean, they already brought Daredevil in, right? Like Matt Murdock was in the last one. So I really wonder story-wise, like, is he going to be hunting Spider-Man? Like, I don't know.
Well, what I'm trying to get, I don't know, man. How do you think the tone would be?
Oh, well, that's hard to say because
is this with Tom Holland or is it with Morales?
That's with Tom Holland. He's going to be in the next
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man movie. It's hard to tell because like when they, you guys have obviously seen Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
Punisher had a very dark presence in that show, just like he did in the original show. I don't know how that translates to a Spider-Man movie, though. Spider-Man movies are genuinely more lighthearted. They don't have that grittiness, dark grittiness that the Punisher fits in with. Daredevil does, and that's why it works so well. So
I'm trying to get my head around it because I don't know how that's going to work. Because him playing the Punisher,
insane.
If he's playing Punisher, they're going to have to. Ooh, that's why I'm saying I'm trying to wrap my head around it. How they gonna do that? Because I don't know.
Take a look real quick at the. I'm just trying to skim through what the story was in this comic. Maybe it'll give some kind of a hint as to what they're doing.
What's the inspiration for them to bring him in? Because we already know. Because we know how Punisher is. So Punisher, you got to have. It got to be some brute force. It got to be some killing. It got to be. So and Tom, and with him playing Spidey, see, he's still. I don't know if they're gonna actually have him grow up. I don't know if they're gonna have him be 18-year-old or 19-year-old Spidey finally in this.
Well, he's supposed to be in college, I believe. I believe he's starting college, university.
Okay.
So the story behind this comic here, I just pulled up a synopsis. It says a new costume character called the Jackal has appeared and hired a vigilante, the Punisher, to kill Spider-Man. Spider-Man, meanwhile, is web slinging through the city, contemplating the recent death of his girlfriend Gwen Stacy. He stops to take some pictures of a robbery and stops along the way. Okay, so if I had to make an assumption of where they might go with this, I'm thinking maybe a villain or somebody hires Punisher to go after Spider-Man as he's trying to deal with the repercussions and issues that have happened from the previous story where nobody, he basically, instead of losing Gwen Stacy, he basically lost MJ. He didn't lose her, but she doesn't remember him.
Hang on. NG says they really do a lot of team ups though between Spider-Man and Punisher in the comics. How was the tone in that to you, NGTZ? Is it like, I mean, is it like pretty even-handed? Is it like X-Men tone? I like the X-Men tone. They pretty much keep it, it's not super funny, but then they kind of keep the action going and they keep it kind of dramatic as well with all of that. But how was the tone in that is in those comics?
And like, even if you take it back to like the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon, a lot of that, the Punisher was in that as well. And it was him hunting down Peter Parker. He's trying to take out Peter Parker, right? So maybe there's some kind of element like that they're trying to do where he's a hired gun or something going after the Spider Freak or, something like that. I'm not a big Marvel guy, so
I'm not either. I mean, yeah, it's
it
very
comes out
few
to
that
the
like.
Lord. I know a little bit, just a little bit of it, but like I said, that's why I was trying to wrap it around my head because, like I said, it all depends. Like homie says that, Punisher and Spidey did team up at times, but most of the time he was always a hired gun to track him down. So, but how they're going to do it, because you're gonna have a problem. Because you're gonna have those Marvel fans that want the Punisher, because John plays a good Punisher. Don't get me wrong, he plays a good Punisher. Now the question is going to be: are you going to get full Punisher, or are you going to get a slight toned down Punisher? And that's going to be the problem. Because if you get a slight toned down Punisher, it's going to make a lot of motherfuckers mad. It's going to make a lot of cats mad. But if you go full fledged Punisher and you allow him to do what he do, so it might even out. I don't know. Because from the stuff that I know what's been going on with Marvel and stuff like that, Disney been intervening with Marvel Studios a lot. They've been intervening on a lot of things. And even though Marvel Studios is its own entity, Disney has been meddling in a lot of their stuff. That's why a lot of their stuff is not either going to be coming out or it's been mediocre. Because Disney been meddling.
So my question is this movie, Spider-Man, is it coming out before the next Avengers or after the next Avengers?
I have no idea.
I don't know either, but I'm thinking if it comes out after the next Avengers, Punisher is set to be in that movie, right? So perhaps there is a setup going on in that movie, or if it's the other way around, perhaps this is the setup to bring Punisher into the Avengers. You know what I mean? Into that
right.
So, like I said, I'm not too sure which one's coming first, whether it's Spider-Man or whether it's Avengers Doomsday.